All right, guys. Starting our our impact stream here at 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock inside our impact studio here on WCNC Plus. We are going to update the situation in New York. 5 are dead, dozens others are injured after this tour bus rolled over with more than 50 people aboard this bus earlier today. This is east of Buffalo, and officials just got done with a press conference updating the information. We're going to go to this now.
Good afternoon. Unfortunately, not a good afternoon or good evening. My name is Andre Ray, Major New York State Police, Troop Commander of Troop T. And this afternoon on I-90 in the town of Pembroke, an absolute tragedy took place. And first and foremost, our thoughts, prayers, and hearts go out to those involved, their friends, and their family. At approximately 12:22 p.m. today, a tour bus owned by M&Y Tour Inc. out of Staten Island was carrying 54 people in total. 2 of those being operators and employees of the bus company, 52 being passengers. The passengers range in age from 1 to 74 years old. While heading eastbound just before exit 48A, the operator lost control of the bus, exiting the roadway, and tragically, multiple people were ejected from the bus, with 5 people deceased at the scene. Multiple individuals were taken to Erie County Medical Center, Strong Memorial, Millard Fillmore, and UMMR in Batavia. The cause of the collision is still under investigation. However, mechanical failure as well as operator impairment have been ruled out at this time. The operator has been cooperative, and with the investigation still underway, no charges have been filed at this point. The Red Cross has established a family reunification center at Amherst Senior Center. The phone number to that, for those in need, is 716-898-3696. I'll say that again, it's 716-898-3696, and that is the Amherst Senior Center. I'd like to thank our partners in local, county, and federal, both law enforcement, fire, and EMS, for their assistance today. I'd like to ask anyone with information, whether it be an eyewitness account or dash cam footage that could help us in this investigation, contact Troop A, SP Batavia, at 585-344-6200. Again, that's 585-344-6200. In closing, again, I ask you all to please give the families their privacy, their time to mourn and grieve their lost loved ones, as well as pray for and keep in your thoughts and mind those involved, as well as their families and their friends. At this point, I'll take a few questions. I do not have the exact ages, however, no children passed away. Yes, initially it was believed that a child had passed away, but further investigation has deemed that to be false. There were children transported to the hospital. Many people have subsequently been released from the hospital. I'm unaware of any serious physical injuries to children at this point. Their points of origin vary. The bus, again, was coming from New York City initially to the American side of Niagara Falls, and then now was returning to Niagara Falls in New York, or returning to New York City.
And what was the name of that?
M as in Mary, and Y as in young. Yeah, so M and Y. M as in Mary.
Like an ampersand?
Yes.
Okay, M and Y.
Tour Inc.
Out of
Staten Island. Yes.
Okay. And were they just coming up to Niagara Falls and back? Was that the plan?
They had already been to Niagara Falls, and yes, they were returning.
Can you talk about the scale
Tragically, in the many years of the Thruway, there's been several horrific accidents, with this being one of them, which is why the New York State Police are actively out enforcing the speed laws, move over laws, DWIs. We are dedicated to ensuring public safety. That is one of our mission statements, to ensuring highway safety. That is one of our mission statements.
You said they were heading east, so how do you think the accident occurred? Did they hit another vehicle?
Nope, at this point, and again, it's still under investigation. It's believed the operator became distracted, lost control, overcorrected, and ended up on the right shoulder there.
Are there any
The investigation is still underway, so it's too early to state whether or not charges will take place.
distracted by what? Involved in rescuing people? You know, it
We're-
was on its side, you had a crane. Could you talk about that?
Yes, it took an extensive amount of effort from our first responders, both fire and EMS, along with partnering with the tow companies. So again, a debt of gratitude is owed to them and the hard work that they do.
Major, can you describe to us the bus we saw was flipped back upright and it looks like it's been taken out of here? Where was it taken to? Is it evidence? Can you speak about that?
Yes, it's been towed as evidence back to SP Batavia.
Do you know what distracted the driver?
We have suspicions, but it's still under investigation at this time.
Were there any other vehicles involved in the crash?
At this point, no other vehicles are believed to have been involved.
All 5 people that passed away were passengers, not part of the operation.
That is my understanding, yes.
Is there anything more you can share about the conditions of the other people who were taken to the hospital?
My last update, no one else was in a life-threatening status. Multiple people were treated and subsequently released already.
I also want to clarify one point. You said operator error was ruled out, but if
No, I'm sorry, mechanical error was ruled out as well as impairment or intoxication. Yes.
Do you mean like by a cell phone or like another driver? Or...
Not by another operator. Nothing outside of the vehicle.
Did you say the origin of the 5 people?
Excuse me?
About the origin of the 5 people who died?
I don't know their specific origin. However, the occupants of the bus hailed from a variety of places across the world, from China, India, the Philippines, and the Middle East as well as American.
Is it known if seatbelts were being worn on the bus?
It is too early to determine that. I will state, though, multiple occupants were thrown around in the bus, with multiple being ejected.
Are belts required in buses to be worn in New York State?
I believe yes, belts are required.
The trooper earlier today said that the bus was going at, quote, full speed, unquote. Can you clarify that?
I don't know exactly what was being referenced,
Is it
so
believed the bus was traveling past the speed limit?
I don't have any of that information.
Did you say the magnitude of this scene? You see the amount of first responders behind you and the vehicles behind you. Speak to the teamwork and the magnitude of people that responded.
Again, I have nothing but appreciation, the utmost appreciation and respect for all of our partners, our tow companies, the county sheriff. The sheriff is to my left shoulder right over here. Our partners at the Thruway Authority are phenomenal in getting our roadways reopened as quickly as possible, and keeping all of the first responders as safe as well as as safe as possible. So,
the tour buses came?
thank you.
Did you say how many people were?
I did not.
All right, we're going to go to some condition updates in a couple of minutes from some of the victims. But first, we want to go to a ICE rally right now where a number of California residents are protesting against ICE being in the state. We'll go to this right now.
At a time when parents were also dropping out some students for the 66 program. At least in one instance, we saw a parent leave the area. So we want to make sure that it's very clear that we denounce every action of Immigration and Customs Enforcement in and around schools, that we condemn the actions of Immigration and Customs Enforcement in intimidating, in kidnapping, in assaulting parents who are dropping off their children in and around schools. We'd like to begin this press conference with Erenira Ramirez, a parent of San Diego Unified School District students, as well as a member of Unión del Barrio.
Buenas tardes. As a parent with children in San Diego Unified School District, I am appalled by the ICE terror we are seeing around and now on actual school campuses. All parents, regardless of citizenship status, have the right to travel to and from school with dignity and safety. Parents, we need to join the teachers and community leaders to ensure families stay together. We need to create safe zones around campuses so we can feel safe bringing our children to and from school. What happened today at Ibarra was terrifying as a parent and completely unacceptable. School leaders, if you want us to bring our children to school, you need to ensure that we are safe to do so. The schools need our children. And parents, we need to unite and call the district, show up to board meetings, and demand they protect our children and the families that come with them. You cannot protect the child without protecting the family. Not one more family, not one more parent, and the family separations.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Erenira. Next, we want to call up Marisol Duran, who is a member of the Association of Raza Educators, who is also part of our community patrol efforts.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Association of Raza Educators, we are disgusted and appalled to these strategies and tactics against our comunidades. We are appalled to these strategies and tactics against our comunidades. We are today, that is the evidence that we have for you. Besides the 4 to 5 kidnappings of parents already that have happened in a couple of weeks. The district can no longer stay silent. They cannot hide behind a letter, behind their words and their rhetoric. We need action. We demand action. We deserve action. We don't need your outrage. We need action. Teachers everywhere, I will give a call to teachers everywhere, as we are to protect our children, our students who come to us to learn. We cannot teach if they have been traumatized. We cannot teach if their parents have been stripped away from their lives. It is a call to our maestros, our teachers who are always in the trenches working with our students alongside our families, our parents, our community. Today is the day. And if you do not see what happened today, you are blind. You are blinded to the reality of the students you serve, the communities we are to serve as educators. We will continue to organize families, students, and the community on all of our campuses. El pueblo salva al pueblo. ¿Cómo decimos?
El pueblo salva al pueblo.
El pueblo salva al pueblo.
El pueblo salva al pueblo.
El pueblo salva al pueblo. And that is who we have, each other. So teachers, I urge you to join the collective efforts of the community patrols at your campuses. Create a plan that is preventative. What happens before school? What happens during? Let's mobilize during an ICE presence and an allocation for after, when a parent is kidnapped and a student is left defenseless. We need resources and support to be allocated to our familias who are under attack. We hope that the district leadership will join us in this fight, but we will continue to organize with or without you. Thank you.
Education, not deportation!
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 Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Marisol, estoy representando la Asociación de los Educadores de la Raza. Y como coordinadora, quiero decir que estamos indignados y consternados con lo que ocurrió hoy en esta mañana en nuestro querido pueblo de City Heights.
Cierto.
Llevamos meses diciendo que ICE tiene en la mira a nuestras familias y a nuestros niños. Hoy es una prueba más de ello, más aparte de los secuestros que han ocurrido en estas semanas. El distrito ya no puede permanecer en silencio y esconderse atrás de cartas que nos mandan o darnos su indignación de lo ocurrido como líderes escolares. Necesitamos acción, demandamos un plan que apoye nuestras familias porque estamos siendo atacadas. Esa es la realidad. Nos están secuestrando nuestros hijos, nuestros padres, y como educadores tenemos la obligación de estar en lucha, en pie con nuestro pueblo, con nuestra comunidad. Entonces les exigimos al distrito que ya tengan un plan, que colaboren con los esfuerzos comunitarios para tener esa protección para nuestros padres, nuestros estudiantes también. Los maestros que siempre están en la lucha en los salones, les pedimos que salgan a la lucha con sus estudiantes, con su comunidad. Nuestros estudiantes están siendo atacados emocionalmente y psicológicamente, que tiene un daño que será por toda la vida. Se le están arrebatando sus padres a un vínculo primordial, lo que es en la niñez de nuestros estudiantes. Es necesario que hagamos algo ya. Seguiremos organizando a las familias, los estudiantes y a la comunidad en todas nuestras escuelas. El pueblo salva al pueblo y eso es lo que tenemos. Nos tenemos el uno al otro y como decimos, por ti, hoy, mañana por mí, y tenemos que poner eso en práctica. Tenemos que comenzar a poner eso en práctica adentro de las escuelas y afuera de las escuelas. Entonces esperamos que los líderes del distrito se unan a nosotros en esta lucha, que se unan de pie, a hombro, a luchar con nuestras familias, pero seguiremos organizándonos de pie con o sin ellos. Seguiremos. ¡Que viva el pueblo organizado!
¡Que viva!
Muchas gracias, Marisol. And to continue this press conference, we have representative of San Diego Education Association, a high school educator, Marianne Belmontes. Para continuar, tenemos Marianne Belmontes, educadora del Sindicato de Maestros.
As a Lincoln High School educator and a proud San Diego Education Association Union board member, we at SDAA wholeheartedly denounce the ICE presence on our school campus today. We've been talking a lot about keeping ICE off campus. That's important, but that's not enough. It doesn't matter whether these kidnappings happen on our campuses or during the day. When ICE is staging on our school parking lots, or when they're kidnapping parents around the corner, up the street, or in our communities, this is a direct attack on our students. We stand in unity with all workers everywhere, and we demand that our communities, and especially our schools, be free of ICE terror. As labor activists standing in resistance of growing fascism in our country, we stand with workers everywhere. Which side are you on? Do you stand with our students, families, or workers that make up the backbone of our community, of our country, or not? The time for labor to unite in defense of students is now. Schools need to be a safe place to teach and to learn, and that's something worth fighting for. Thank you.
That's right. Which side are you on?
Okay. Hola, buenas tardes. Yo soy una educadora con la escuela Lincoln High School y también una miembro y una de la mesa de San Diego Unified School District. Y aquí estamos para denunciar la presencia de ICE en nuestras escuelas. Estamos aquí para decir que más de palabras necesitamos que haya un cambio real, un cambio que las palabras no son bastantes, que tenemos que tener cómo podemos estar en una sociedad donde nuestros hijos, nuestros padres, nuestros trabajadores están atacados por el ICE o están recogidos y nomás. No importa si es aquí en las escuelas o afuera, pero alrededor de las comunidades. Tenemos que proteger a nuestras comunidades. Tenemos que denunciar que ICE no esté en ningún lugar aquí alrededor de nuestras escuelas. Como activistas del sector trabajador, estamos pidiendo a que todos vengan y apoyamos a nuestros trabajadores y estamos aquí para crear escuelas protegiendo a nuestros estudiantes y nuestras familias. Gracias.
Muchas gracias. El maestro luchando también está enseñando. Maestros luchando. También está enseñando. También tenemos, afortunadamente también tenemos un representante de la oficina del consejo de este distrito que quisiera decir algunas palabras. La oficina de Sean Eloy Rivera y tenemos David. Roberto, perdón. Estoy cambiando el nombre aquí.
Thank you, Benjamin. Gracias a todos por estar aquí. Me llamo Roberto Marin. My name is Roberto Marin. I am the Director of Community Empowerment for Council Member Sean Elo Rivera's office. He couldn't be here today, but we are here supporting the community. And I'm going to read a statement that he just sent me, and that goes by, schools are meant to be places of safety, learning, and community, not fear and terror. ICE's reported actions near Herbert Ibarra Elementary are yet another example of a disturbing trend. ICE treating school drop-offs and pickups as a hunting ground to meet the obscene goals of Trump and Stephen Miller. Hunting for parents while they are taking their children to school does not make anyone safer. And ICE, along with the Trump administration, knows that. This has never been about safety. It's about terrorizing families, and it shatters children's sense of security. This is unacceptable. No parent should have to choose between their child's education and the risk of family separation. Much appreciation and all the power to the people of City Heights who are on the scene this morning, making it clear we will not accept fascism or terror in our community, period.
Thank you.
I stand with the families of City Heights, with Unido de Barrio, with the Association of Raza Educators, and with every San Diegan demanding accountability and an immediate end to these cruel and cowardly tactics. Our children deserve safety, our communities deserve peace, and we will not allow them to be targets of fear. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. And to close out the press conference, I'd like to invite Adriana Hassel, Secretary General of Unión del Barrio, who was also on the scene this morning, who participated in this community patrol. And she was going to give you a summation not only of what happened, but also our continuing ongoing efforts to continue to organize our community in our self-defense. Adriana Hassel.
All right. Bravo.
Thank you, gracias. Primero lo voy a hacer en español y luego lo hago en inglés. Quisiera primero reconocer la presencia del Comité de Solidaridad de Defensa de City Heights. Esta mañana a las 6 de la mañana nos reunimos para llevar a cabo un patrullaje en esta comunidad que hemos patrullado por 4 años, más o menos. Desde la primera vez que Trump fue presidente, esta fue una de las comunidades. Inmediatamente detectamos que había presencia de ICE, había por lo menos 3 unidades, y es notable cómo se mueven en las comunidades, y estuvo aquí en este estacionamiento a las 6:35 cuando se confirmó su presencia, y también estuvimos alertados por la comunidad. Varios de los vecinos salieron, nos apoyaron y nos estuvieron instruyendo más o menos hacia dónde se dirigían los vehículos. Es importante que para poder sobrellevar este tipo de organización comunitaria sea todos los días en vigilancia y en unidad. Nadie va a venir a salvarnos. Nadie va a venir a protegernos más que nosotros y nosotras. Por eso la organización comunitaria es muy importante. Aquí hay un comité que se reúne cada semana y lleva a cabo patrullajes. Hay que unirnos a esos esfuerzos, hay que estar alertas y hay que defendernos. Esta es una lucha que todavía nos quedan más de 3 años. Apenas estamos empezando. Apenas estamos ante la situación de que en octubre empieza el año fiscal de billones de dólares que se han otorgado a esta agencia. Billones de dólares. Este tipo de represión y este tipo de secuestros van a ocurrir más y más si no nos unimos y si no nos abrazamos como vecinos, como maestros, como maestras y como estudiantes. Hay que defender la dignidad, hay que defender nuestros derechos y hay que también advertir a las familias que por todos los medios se protejan y se defiendan, que por todos los medios se unifiquen y estén al tanto de la realidad y de los retos y de la inseguridad en la comunidad y en la vecindad. So just to close this morning, I was here at City Heights. I want to highlight and say that we got together at 6 a.m. with members of the City Council of the City Heights Defense Committee. They meet every week. They've been doing patrols, and we came to support them. We've been patrolling City Heights for 4 years since the first Trump administration. And so what we were here to say, not just by putting out a statement or by making a statement, but by being out in the community, yes, at 5:45 a.m., at 5:30 a.m. We have also seen what has been happening in Encinitas. The brutality of this agency has found a way to locate people and kidnap people as they go for their children before school or after school. So we have the responsibility to be vigilant and to be organized and know that when October comes in a couple of months, they're going to have billions of dollars, a lot more infrastructure, a lot more resources, a lot more money, and our communities cannot and will not continue to be the target of a violent, systematic regime that hopes and wants for all of us to be fearful. We are not fearful. We will fight back. We will organize. We will resist, because this is our community. These are our students. These are our parents. These are our cities. And we have provided and given too much away to not resist and to not fight back. You have the commitment from Unión del Barrio, the Association of Raza Educators, and the Community for Self-Defense to fight back, to resist, and to say, no más, ya basta. Thank you.
Ya basta. Raza sí.
Our schools! Whose schools? Our schools! Whose schools? Our schools!
Thank you very much. Raza sí. Stand up, fight back. Raza sí, migranora. Thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and conclude, and we're available for one-on-ones if you want. We also have other members of the self-defense committee, City Heights self-defense committees that are here as well if you would like to do one-on-ones with them as well. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to leave this live rally in California to go to an update on the people that were hurt in the bus crash in New York State. We're going to go to this now. This is just east of Buffalo. Medical examiners giving us an update on the people that they took into their care.
Influx of injured patients. Also, thank you to several ECMC ER doctors who actually went to the scene to help triage patients at the scene. Thank you to our nurses, pharmacists, and all their staff that proved today what an asset ECMC is for Western New York. Lastly, thank you to our partners at Kaleida Health who coordinated with us and received patients to help keep us decompressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cloud. Our next speaker is our Chief of Emergency Medicine, Dr. Jennifer Pugh.
Hi, my name is Dr. Jennifer Pugh. I'm one of the Chief Service of Emergency Medicine at ECMC. Again, our team worked together to provide care for all 24 patients coming in. We currently have 20 of those patients actively receiving treatment, imaging, evaluation by the trauma service in the emergency department, and we likely have updates later. 2 went to I believe, the operating room, and we have several patients who went to the trauma ICU. But luckily, again, with the team, many of our emergency medicine physicians from our group on scene and those who joined us in the department, we were able to take care of all patients very quickly.
Thanks, Dr. Pugh. And our next speaker is our Chief of Surgery, Dr. Jeff Brewer.
Yeah, so I just want to echo what Dr. Cloud and Dr. Pugh stated. You know, it takes an army to mobilize what is essentially usually a full hospital and make space for 20 plus victims of a car wreck. You know, the initial report was that we had 50 plus patients coming, which we would have been able to accommodate. So everyone from the housekeepers that keep the rooms cleaned and turned over so we can get these trauma bays utilized, to the neurosurgeons, the orthopods, all the physicians that came down to help out, and the nurses and staff in the trauma bays.
So now we'll open for any questions for any of the 3 physicians.
What kinds of injuries, excuse me, what kind of injuries are you seeing?
You know, with blunt trauma like motor vehicle collisions or a rollover like this, really any type of injury can be seen. So we have some folks that have some head injuries. We have some folks that have some extremity fractures. 2 patients from the operating room right now, one with internal injuries that are being managed and one with a severe extremity injury. And then we have several folks still getting evaluated of lesser complexity still in the emergency department.
Those 2 most serious, I mean, what are their prospects at this point that we know?
I would expect that they would recover.
Aline, you have a question?
Yeah, I mean, how did you make it all come together here? Just, you know, you work as a team, obviously, but just knowing how to evaluate each of those situations of what those folks had.
So we train for these. In fact, we just had a mass casualty drill in July, where we actually bring everyone together and actually run through the entire thing with patients and ambulances arriving. And then we learn from those, and we post-game those, and Monday morning quarterback them and look at ways we can improve. And so that when the rubber hits the road and when the real thing happens, like today, we are prepared to be professionals and to get the patients rapidly evaluated, and the ones that need it to the ICUs and to the ORs.
At the scene, this tour bus came from Niagara Falls. I'm not sure which Niagara Falls, but it came from Niagara Falls to New York City, and we were told it was loaded with people that were from the Philippines, from the Far East, from India. There was a language barrier. I would imagine some of those folks are here, and could you talk a little bit about how you're dealing with it? Has it become an issue for you, and how did you deal with that?
Many of the patients were bilingual, so they were able to provide some history in English, and then we also actually utilized all of our translation services through the entire hospital. We had brought down, so we had over 15 or 20 translation devices, actually more translation devices than patients arriving available.
Sure. I know you train for this all the time. Have you ever had a mass casualty incident with this many patients at once?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I can.
Can you recall any others that
one
here?
without maybe not this many patients.
Okay.
You know, but on a microscopic scale, we do this every day, right? So any patient that comes in here from a car wreck or a gunshot or a fall, they're evaluated in the same way. So you're just multiplying that. And we use force multipliers by bringing all the assets we have in the hospital. So we bring all the residents down on the surgery they're in the hospital that may be on other services. All the orthopedic physicians and their residents came down. So you just magnify and multiply what you have in the hospital.
Good
and
to
do
know.
the things that we do every day, just on a larger scale.
Good to know. The question was, have you ever had an incident with this many at once?
I've been here 25 years, and I've been here 25 years. This is, and as Peter had mentioned, I'm also a member of the Department of Emergency Medicine. This is probably the most trauma patients we've had from one incident in my career here in Buffalo.
Over 25 years.
Over 25
Can
years.
you talk about the doctors that went out in the field to the scene?
So we have, or you go ahead and handle
No,
it.
I can.
It's from our department.
So UC Emergency Medicine, we cover multiple different sites, including ECMC, but we're fortunate to have an EMS division, and that group works directly with our EMS staff, and they actually deployed themselves right onto the scene. So I believe we had 6 physicians from our group there helping with the triage of patients. So they're able to go directly to the bus, actually help the EMS crews decide how serious the patient's injuries are. Other hospitals did receive patients with lesser injuries than ECMC, but all the critical patients, they were able to identify on scene, identify who would need Mercy Flight, and then be transferred here. So that was a huge asset, having so many trained staff on scene who have done these mass casualty drills or have been part of them, not only in New York or other states.
If you know, how many Mercy Flight landings were here today?
I believe we had 4.
4, yeah.
Just to clarify the numbers real quick, 24 patients came into ECMC, 2 of them went to the operating room, the 2 others to trauma ICU. That's right?
I believe that's right.
And the remainder are being evaluated.
Yeah,
so.
we still have 20 that are currently in our department receiving active care.
Do you know the breakdown? Because I've heard that, some of course went to Strong as well, and like you said, there were other hospitals involved. So do you know the breakdown as far as how many, like the percentages?
I can't speak to the other hospitals. I know we did receive the majority of the patients from what I'm hearing from the physicians on the scene. Yeah.
Were there any fatalities? If so, how many?
I will probably direct that back to the staff on the scene, but we were told that there were several fatalities on the scene.
I think New York State Police may have that information for you from the scene, yes. Anybody else? I know Buffalo News just arrived, so you want to...
And I think to reiterate, I know this question was asked, but we were able, with the new emergency department, we went from a very small department in the old hospital, but now we have a 53-bed emergency department. We have 4 large trauma bays. We were actually able to clear every room with the help of our medicine colleagues so that if we did receive all 50-plus patients, we would have been ready. We're very fortunate with the new setup of even the ambulance area. We're doing triage outside and making sure patients were assigned to the appropriate areas.
We actually designed this new emergency department for mass casualty incidences. That was one of the primary things we were thinking about when it was designed, so that we could have good ambulance flow and patient drop-off right next to the area where they'd be evaluated for traumas. And so I think today was proof of that concept working.
Yeah, and of all the hospitals in the market, anyway, ECMC is the designated mass casualty center for Western New York. And again, as Dr. Cloud said earlier, we are, as I think you all know, the only level 1 adult trauma center for Western New York. Oshai Children's is for pediatric cases, which would be 16 years and younger, but ECMC is for adults. Yeah. Any other questions? Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you.
Yeah. And in the advisory...
So that wraps our update of the New York State bus crash. If we get any other developments that happen into tonight's stream, we'll, of course, pass them along to you. President Donald Trump did speak earlier in the Oval Office, and one of the big things coming from that discussion was that the president seems to be pointing his sights now on Chicago for his updated crime crackdown. We saw the federal rollout of troops and National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. That are still stationed there, and it seems like Chicago could be the next place. He did cover that and numerous other things in this speech. So we'll go to this now.
I don't think you can stand later.
What do you think? Hey, Brian. Thank you very much. We have a very big announcement to make today. You all know Johnny. He came all the way from Italy, the beautiful country of Italy, to be with us. And he just got off the plane, and he's a hardworking guy, does a phenomenal job with FIFA. Nobody like him. I'm delighted to welcome FIFA President Gianni Infantino back to the White House for a major announcement about one of the most anticipated competitions in all of sports, the 2026, and this is a big deal, I'll tell you, I was so happy to get it, the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And it's going to be the World Cup as we know it. It's the biggest, probably the biggest event in sports, I guess, Johnny, right?
Yeah.
On December 5th of this year, the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw will take place at the Kennedy Center. Some people refer to it as the Trump Kennedy Center, but we're not prepared to do that quite yet, maybe in a week or so. But right here in Washington, D.C., it's a tremendous honor to bring the global event and this incredible group of people and these unbelievable athletes, the best athletes in the world, to the cultural center of our nation's capital. I just left the Kennedy Center. We're spending a lot of money wisely on making it really beautiful. It's going to be beautiful again. It's like Washington, D.C. We had, by the way, in Washington, D.C., we have the lowest crime numbers they've had in years. Zero, it sounds like it's a horrible thing to say, but I might as well say it. Zero murders in the last week since we've done this. That's the first time in memory that that's happened, if you can believe it, how pathetic that is to have to even say it. And I'm tired of listening to these people say how safe it was before we got here. It was unsafe. It was horrible. And Mayor Bowser better get her act straight or she won't be mayor very long, because we'll take it over with the federal government running like it's supposed to be run. The numbers were horrible. It was a crime-infested rat hole. And they do have a lot of rats. We're getting rid of them too. And we've made a lot of progress. And it was extremely unsafe, and now it's extremely safe. We had virtually no crime. The number was down 87%, and I'm trying to figure out where was the 13%, because I don't think it existed. The National Guard has been unbelievable, and they're working with the police. And they have some very good people in there. They have some people that shouldn't be police, actually, but they have some great people there. And the Washington, D.C. is a whole different place. And Johnny, I'm sure you'll be happy to hear that too, actually.
Oh, yes.
But it's a whole different place. People are excited again. They're going out to restaurants again. That was the other thing I saw numbers, that restaurant business is down in the last week. No. Restaurant business, you can't get into a restaurant. Just really lying people. And that's why people don't understand how bad and how dishonest the press is. I saw one poll that had us at 19% favorable on what we're doing with Washington. Then I saw another one that has us 94% favorable. And I can tell you the 94% is correct. The others are fake, just fake news. They got to get their act together. So bad for our country, so sick actually. So Washington, D.C. is really doing unbelievably well. And the Kennedy Center that we're fixing, I was just there all morning with contractors. We're making it unbelievable. It's going to be unbelievable. It's got great bones, but it needs a lot of work. The World Cup draw will set up the group stage of competition. 48 teams will play in 104 games across 16 North American cities, from Seattle to Vancouver to Atlanta to Miami. It's going to be so exciting for our country. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be one of the largest and most complex events. This will be one of the greatest events, one of the largest. In a way, it's like Johnny said it better. It's like having many Super Bowls in a short period of time. Because each one of these games essentially is a Super Bowl. Some of them are bigger than Super Bowls, actually. But they're essentially, each one of these games is like a Super Bowl. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be the largest, most complex set of events in sports history. And the Kennedy Center will give it a phenomenal kickoff, and we'll be involved, and they'll be working over there for quite a bit of time. We have it all set that they can stay there for the big events, the big press conferences and everything else. And they'll be in a very safe capital. That'll be nice. You don't have to worry about walking down the street, Johnny, okay?
Thank you.
But you could handle yourself.
I could.
Okay. Already FIFA is projecting 6 million loyal fans will attend the World Cup events next year, and 6 billion more are going to be watching back home, and they think the $6 billion number is going to be actually a low number. And this will drive more than $30 billion into the U.S. economy and create 185,000 American jobs in a short period of time, too. No sporting event attracts more attention, more fans, more viewers, or more revenue than the FIFA World Cup. And again, I'll just say it's the World Cup, and it's the biggest thing there is in sports, and we have it. And I got it in my first administration, and I was really somewhat devastated, as devastated as I can be. I don't have time to get too devastated. I was very happy that today, as you saw, the group that does this, a government group, radical left group, announced that Trump was right. Took in $4 trillion worth of tariffs. That the $4 trillion are going to reduce the deficit by numbers far greater than they ever expected or heard of. And by the way, the stock market went up 1,000 points. That was as of 10 minutes ago. I can't tell you what happened. A lot of things happened. But the stock market's up almost 1,000 points. And it's basically on the news that the release that just came out from government that the tariffs that everybody was talking about, that the whole world respects us for because of what we did. The tariffs are going to be at $4 trillion. They're going to reduce the deficit by $4 trillion, Mr. Vice President.
Pretty good, sir.
Too bad it's not 5, right?
That's right.
It's had a huge impact, and the stock market is way up. Way up. Market is.
Thanks, everyone.
But this will drive more than $30 billion in U.S. economy and create 185,000 American jobs. No sporting event attracts more attention or more fans or anything else. And I just look forward to the draw. So we're going to have the draw, essentially, Johnny, at the Kennedy Center. Yep. And by that time, it'll be in even better shape. We're working on it. It's about a year project to make it. It'll be great. It'll be fantastic. You see the way this is looking? Look, nice. I can't tell you how much that gold costs. A lot of money. There's nothing like gold, and there's nothing like solid gold. But this beautiful office needed it. It had to be representative. When we took it over, it was dirty, not clean. I immediately changed the chair and had this beautiful desk renovated, brought out by the White House. People that do this, they did a great job to send it out. We have a craftsman who's great. But this was not appropriate for the Oval Office when I took over. And now you look at all those paintings you're allowed to turn back. All of these are great presidents, and they were all in the vaults. They were in vaults for some cases much more than 100 years. And now they're proudly hanging on the Oval Office walls, so I can't imagine anybody changing it. But they were buried in vaults for over 100 years, many of them. So it's very exciting. People come in, they really love it. They love what we're doing here. They love what we're doing in D.C., and they love what we're doing, most importantly, in the country and the world. I'd like to ask Johnny to say a few words. He's the head of the whole thing. He's been there for a long time, probably the most respected man in sports. He's amazing, actually. Works very hard, and he's got the biggest event in the world coming right here to the United States. And we did a little for Canada, we did a little for Mexico. We thought, see, I'm a good citizen. I said, let them have a little piece. So we gave a little to Canada, see how nice I am? And we gave a little bit to Mexico. And Johnny, please say a few words.
Thank you, President. Great honor for me to be here with you today, President, Vice President, Excellencies. Fantastic to announce what you said, which is the final draw of the FIFA World Cup on the 5th of December here in the capital, in the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. at 12 noon sharp. It will be broadcast live all over the world. 1 billion viewers will watch it, and it will determine, of course, the match schedule, which 48 participating teams will play. You said it, 104 matches in 1 month, 104 Super Bowls. This is not just the biggest, the greatest event, not just a sports event, it's a social event as well, with a lot of emotion. We are uniting the world, Mr. President, uniting the world here in America, and we are very proud of that. And those teams, those national teams who will come here to participate in this draw with their coaches, with their presidents, they will all be proud to be part of writing this history. And that's why we brought as well this, which is the winner's trophy. It is the trophy that the winner of the FIFA World Cup wins. Only the FIFA president, presidents of countries, and then those who win can touch it, because it's for winners only. And since you are a winner, of course, you can as well touch it. It's pretty heavy. Yeah. It's the winner trophy. The last one who lifted that is Lionel Messi of Argentina. And here it is in the Oval Office in the White House.
Can I keep it?
What do you? Well, you can keep it.
We're not giving it back. We're not giving it back. That's serious.
It fits well.
That goes very well on the wall right over there. We'll put it right below the angels.
It fits well here.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
You can keep it until we have to give it to the next winner.
That's fine. That's a beautiful piece of gold, I will say. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So 6 billion viewers for the World Cup, 6 million coming to the matches. 30 billion economic impact, 185,000 jobs. This will be absolutely fantastic. The biggest event ever, and everything will start here in Washington, D.C. at the Kennedy Center, or the Trump Kennedy Center. We'll see that, how it will be called, on the 5th of September at noon sharp. 5th of December, noon sharp. Then, if I may...
Will they be doing most of the draws, all of the draws at the Kennedy? Well, how are you going to do that?
Yes, we'll do that at the Kennedy Center. We'll do all the other meetings around it with the coaches, with the broadcasters, with the sponsors, everything at the Kennedy Center. The whole World Cup starts, and everyone will be happy because everyone has qualified for the World Cup, and they didn't yet play a game, so they didn't lose yet the game. So they all think they can become world champion, right?
They'll all be happy.
Exactly. Now,
by the way, an example, supposing we had a week ago when everybody was being killed and mugged and everything else, despite the phony numbers that were given out, that it was getting better. Brian, do you believe it was getting better or getting worse?
Oh, the crime is getting worse. I mean, I was wrong. It was getting way
Yeah. How did the other guy come out?
Well, he came out with a briefcase.
Came out with your
Robert 1, Brian 0.
No, but can you imagine you do this and then you start hearing that they had a 20-year reduction of crime. It was worse during the Biden administration than anybody's ever imagined possible. And I guarantee you he wouldn't be here if those numbers continued. But now we have total safety, we have total security. And for the border, in 3 months, 0 people. These are done by liberal people that do these charts. 0 people came through our border in the last 90 days. Can you believe it? 0. Last year we had millions of people coming in. And they came in from the wrong locations. They came in a lot of people that shouldn't be here. So now when we have this event in December, it's going to be very safe, Johnny. You can walk down the street with your beautiful wife.
Yeah.
You can take her to dinner if you can get a reservation, which I doubt.
They're all full, the restaurants.
I know. They're all full. I heard that too. The restaurants aren't. The restaurants, since we are doing this, are doing great. And many new restaurants are going to open because, as you know, many closed. Many restaurants closed because the crime was so bad. This will be one of the safest places anywhere on earth. So, I really am honored that the National Guard has done such an incredible job working with the police. And we haven't had to bring in the regular military, which we're willing to do. We have to. And after we do this, we'll go to another location and we'll make it safe also. We're going to make our country very safe. We're going to make our cities very, very safe. Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor. Grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this, and it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one, but they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York, and we're going to help with. And I think a lot of these people that you see on television, they're including the people in this audience. They'll say bad things about me, and then they'll say, "Thank God he's here," because half of them got mugged, and they don't want to get mugged again. But they work for they work for stupid people at a radical left, and they're made to do things and say things that they don't want to be saying. But the people right here are all happy because you're not going to be mugged in Washington, D.C. anymore. I just want to say Johnny's been my friend for a long time. He's an incredible guy, and we will lay out the red carpet. Andrew, you're going to be fantastic. Rick is going to be everything Rick ever touched has always worked out, and he's working with me on the Kennedy Center. And his very good friend was an actor on Broadway for 5 years, right? And I assume he's helping us a little bit, right?
Yes.
And Andrew, you're all excited about it?
Absolutely.
Would you like to say something?
This is a great opportunity, Mr. President, to show off the first 250 years of the United States of America, the greatness, and then the hope and promise of the next 250 years. When you think this World Cup is going to be over our 250th birthday, Mr. President, your leadership, obviously, with FIFA leading the way. This is the largest sporting event in the history of the world under the Trump administration. So very excited.
I just want to say one thing. Andrew Giuliani, so his father is Rudy, the greatest mayor in the history of New York, I think by far. He took a ravaged city, a city that was really under siege. Probably most people thought it was going to survive. He turned it around. He was a great, great mayor. And then they treated him very, very unfairly. You go back and tell your father all of the things that have come out over the last couple of months through Tulsi and through all of the people, Cash, everybody. They've proven your father 100% correct. His father was treated so unfairly. Your father has been 100% correct. And tell him we all love him, okay?
Thank you, Mr. President.
He's an amazing. What he had to go through was very, very unfair. Nasty. These are bad people. Mr. Vice President, would you like to say something?
Well, sure, Mr. President. Thank you, and thanks to Johnny for being here. We're very thrilled about the World Cup. Just to echo something the President said about crime in Washington, D.C., this is the national capital of the greatest nation in the world, and we had murder rates just a few weeks ago that rivaled some of the worst third world cities anywhere, even in very, very poor regions of the world. Why did we accept that? Why did we allow it to happen? We allowed it to happen because we had broken leadership in Washington, D.C., and unfortunately sitting behind the Resolute desk. What we have shown in just under 2 weeks of taking law enforcement seriously is that the American people can have their streets back if their leadership is willing to put in the time and the resources. Mr. President, you've shown in Washington, D.C. that we can have safe streets again. We've just got to have the political willpower to focus on the bad guys and to give the American people back their communities. We are focused on doing that thanks to the President's leadership.
Thank you. And that's a really very small percentage. It's 2%, 3%, but that 2% and 3% wreaks just havoc throughout a community. People are petrified, and I know there's a couple of the women in the back are shaking their head, yes, yes, yes. I won't report who you are because you'll end up losing your jobs, but it's true. It's amazing. And the police, and you look at the D.C. National Guard, I saw pictures of them last night getting off vans and all, and I saw some bad ones running, but they're not running so much anymore. They're not there. They're just not even trying. You're totally safe. Now there'll be something happening sometime. I don't know. Maybe it won't be for a long time. But this was every night would get reports of people being mugged and killed. There's one woman on television last night. She had a badly busted up nose, and she's well, I like our streets the way they used to be, and she thinks it's going to happen like by doing nothing. And they said, what happened to your nose? She got slugged by a guy walking down the street, slugged. Her nose will never be the same, I guarantee you, unless it takes a pretty good turn. She wasn't really for us. But she sort of said, well, maybe something has to happen. Before this happened to me, she got whacked. And I don't think she'll ever be the same. She was a half a Trump fan, a woman that would have never been a Trump fan, but she was hit hard. It's not going to happen anymore. Not going to happen anymore. But then we're going to beautify the city too. That's where I was today at Kennedy Center, and we're going to beautify the city like it has it. And we're working with Clark Construction, the biggest construction company in Chicago, and in Washington. And the head of Clark is great. He's all over the world, actually, but Washington, I would say, is their home. That's where they do the best work, the biggest work, and they've been doing a fantastic job. So you're going to have a fantastic, clean, beautiful place. It's going to be better than it ever was before, literally better than it ever was before. We'll get it done very quickly. And I want to thank Clark because they're doing a lot of work in a lot of different locations, but they've been fantastic for getting us the right contractors and the people that can really do the job right. And Johnny, did you want to say something?
Yes, one more thing, because as you rightly say, with security and beautifying cities and the whole country, we want people to come and enjoy and have fun. And that's why this is not just the most iconic trophy in the world of sport, but we start on the 10th of September the sale of tickets for the FIFA World Cup, and we have the first ticket here for the final. Good. For you.
Oh, good.
That's cool.
Wow.
It's, of course, row 1, seat 1, it's ticket number 4547. And it's for the final in New York, New Jersey. And so you have your ticket already for the final. All the others, 10th of September, start getting your tickets.
That's beautiful, yeah.
6.5, 7 million tickets. Fans will enjoy the security here. Will be fantastic.
You're going to do record business, I think.
100%.
Christy, would you like to say something?
Yeah, Mr. President, millions of people will come to this country, and we'll make sure they get their travel documents, their visas, that they want to come here and spend their money and enjoy this sporting event. It'll be the largest event in the world. And sir, you're reminding me of something that my dad used to say all the time when I was growing up. He would say, Christy, you kids need to look like you respect yourself before anybody's going to respect you. And in this country, when people look at our streets, when they look at our capital, you're bringing respect back to this city. And people will respect our country more because it's safe, it's clean, it's beautiful. And what you're doing is transforming this nation by making sure that our laws are upheld. And millions of people are going to come and be able to enjoy it next year, and I'm excited about that. Thank you for doing that.
Well, our country is respected again. And a year ago, we had a dead country. I'm telling you, it was a dead country. It was a country that had lost its way. It was a country that was going to fail. Look, even today, where they say $4 trillion in reductions of deficits, and this was totally unexpected. They didn't expect it. I mean, I don't know where they've been, the people that do this stuff, but it's terrible. I want to thank Christy for another reason. I said to her 2 weeks ago, I said, Christy, do me a favor. I built hundreds of miles of wall. I built the same wall that the Border Patrol asked me to build. It wasn't my first choice. I wanted to do concrete plank and everything nice, but you wouldn't have been able to see through it. So I had Border Patrol in, and they tested everything else. And we gave them steel wall, high-grade steel, very hard to cut. And we gave inside that is 9,000-pound concrete, which is a very tough concrete. Inside that is rebar, a big, fat piece of rebar. So you have all different materials that are very hard to cut, and you need different instruments to cut each one. And I said, Christy, we got to get a coat of paint on it. And I didn't know she was listening, but I said, we got to get a coat of paint, and it should be black, because black makes the steel very hot. It's untouchable. You could fry an egg on it. And if you got a good black, flat paint, it would look beautiful. It will preserve it from rust. And that was it. And I gave it to her along with 30 other things, and she's done such a good job on the border with Tom Holman and the group. Tom Holman's a fantastic guy, what the job he does, and the way they work together. So I turned on last night, and I see Christy's painting the wall. And it looked beautiful, by the way, when that paint went over there.
And it's hot.
It's hot.
Yes, it is.
It's hot. If it's white, it's not hot. If it's black, it's going to be very hard to climb that sucker. It's not going to be easy. But it's black and a high-quality black. You know, it really looked good.
Yeah, we got
Is
the
that going
paint
to be
you
a
told us
two-coat
to.
job or a one coat?
No, just one coat.
One coat.
We used the paint you told me to buy.
Yep. The two-coat will take place in 3 years from now. Right? We'll do the second coat. But it looks beautiful. But thank you very much. I didn't know you were listening to that, because we talked about 7 different subjects. And all of a sudden I see her out there painting with a lot of painters and everything else. But it was a beautiful thing to say. Would you like to say something? You've been such a big part of this, please.
Well, just, Mr. President, we're delighted to be here today for this announcement, but we're also looking forward to having you at the final.
Oh, yes.
On July 19th in New York, New Jersey.
We're going to be there. A lot of people are going to be there.
A lot of people are going to be there.
I'd like to thank you all. Do you have any questions on FIFA, first of all?
It's going to be a big event at the Kennedy Center. Do you intend to take part in it? Will you have a part to play on December 5th?
I might play. I mean, I see the money that these soccer players, you know, we call it soccer, but I see the money that these soccer players are making. I may try and play. I'm a very good athlete. My son is a very good athlete, and he's a good soccer player. He's on the tall side for soccer. He's 6'9". That's pretty tall. But
that's pretty tall.
It's on the tall side.
He's good.
It's on the tall side, but he's good. But no, I may put on shorts. I look extremely good in shorts and join the play. You know, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be good.
Many foreigners who want to come to attend the event are concerned about the visa situation. Can you reassure them?
Yeah, they're going to have a very easy time getting in. Certain countries are going to be very, very easy, and other countries are going to be obviously a little bit more difficult. Would you like to explain that, Christy?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a process set up that we'll be implementing on getting visas visas approved. Everybody will be thoroughly vetted, but they'll be welcome to this country. It'll happen quickly, and we're excited for them to come. So I would hope that around the world people know that the United States is excited to bring their family here to enjoy this event.
America welcomes the world.
Yes.
And I can really, from the collaboration that we have, testify for that, absolutely. Thank you.
And I just sent a picture from somebody that wants to be there very badly. He's been very respectful of me and of our country, but not so respectful of others. But I'm going to sign this for him, but I was sent one, and I thought you'd all like to see it. That's a man named Vladimir Putin, who I believe will be coming, depending on what happens. He may be coming, and he may not, depending on what happens. We have a lot of things happening over the next couple of weeks. But I thought it was a nice picture of him. Okay of me, but nice of him. So that was very nice that it was sent to me. Okay?
Mr. President, on
yes.
that subject, have you talked to Vladimir Putin about the fact that yesterday a big U.S. factory was hit in a Russian airstrike in Ukraine? What's your reaction to
I
that?
told him I'm not happy about it. And I'm not happy about anything having to do with that war. I said I settled 7 wars, and actually, if you think about pre-wars, add 3 more, so it would be 10. I thought this would be in the middle of the pack in terms of difficulty. No, I'm not happy about anything about that war. Nothing. Not happy at all. We'll see what happens. I think over the next 2 weeks we're going to find out which way it's going to go. And I better be very happy.
How long are you willing to wait, Mr.
A very good call with Prime Minister Carney of Canada yesterday morning.
Yes.
Actually, Canada is taking away some retaliatory tariffs.
He's removing his tariffs, yeah.
Exactly.
He's removing his retaliatory tariffs, which I thought was nice. And we're going to have another call soon.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a very good call.
You're getting closer towards
Well, I like
on
them.
trade?
I like them. You know, look, I'm fighting for the United States. Canada and Mexico take a lot of our business over the years, over 25, 30 years, especially during the Biden years. They took a lot of our business, and it's basically all coming back into the United States now. We're hot as a pistol, and it's coming back in. Because of tariffs and the incentives we give, it's coming back. And it's impossible, I think, for another country to stop it. And we are working on something. We want to be very good to Canada. I like Carney a lot. I think he's a good person. And we had a very good talk yesterday, so I think it'll be good.
Mr. President, I have a question about the search of Ambassador Bolton's home. The Vice President recently just did an interview saying that it's about classified documents, but that there's also broad concern about him. What are the concerns?
Well, I haven't spoken to Pam in the group yet, but I will be. I saw that just like everybody else. I try and stay out of that stuff. I'm allowed to be, and I'm chief law enforcement officer, believe it or not. You know, I don't like to go around saying that, but I am. That's the position. But I purposely don't want to really get involved in it. I'm not a fan of John Bolton. I thought he was a sleazebag, actually. And he suffers major Trump derangement syndrome, but so do a lot of people, and they're not being affected by anything we do. I don't know anything about it. I just saw that. I'll find out about it. But if you believe the news, which I do, I guess his house was raided today. But my house was raided also, called Mar-a-Lago. They went through everything they could, including my young son's room and my wife's area. They went through her drawers, as the expression goes. They went through everything you can imagine. And when she came back, she said, she's very neat, you know, she's meticulous. And she looked and she said, whoa, this wasn't the way that she had it. So, you know, so I know the feeling. It's not a good feeling. Thank you.
Mr. President, on Ukraine, how long will you give Putin?
A couple of weeks. We're going to figure it out. We'll find it.
Do you think you'll have to intervene at some point?
Look, it takes 2 to tango. You understand that. I wanted to have a meeting with those 2. I could have been at the meeting, but and a lot of people think that nothing's going to come out of that meeting. You have to be there. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. But we're going to see. In the meantime, people continue to die. But I've solved 7 of them where they were in wars for 31, 35, and 37 years. We had 3 of them that were for more than 30 years, Johnny, and I got them solved. And we solved one that could have been a nuclear war with India and Pakistan. That was getting ready to be a nuclear war. I solved them all. And this one, I thought we would have had it done by now, but it's more difficult. There's a lot of anger, a lot of hatred. There's a tremendous amount of hatred there. So, but we'll see what happens. I think in 2 weeks we'll know which way I'm going, because I'm going to go one way or the other, and they'll learn which way I'm going.
Mr. President, if I got 2 questions for you, one on FIFA, the other one on DC. Let's talk. Can you talk about the economic impact that FIFA will have in these cities, and what's your message to the mayors to get their cities prepared, not only the beautification process, but also the safety aspect?
Well, Los Angeles is an example. You know, it's poorly run. We have a mayor there that can't even get permits to the people that lost their houses. Lee Zeldin got every permit. The hardest permit is the federal permit. Within 20 days, every single permit was there for the people to build their houses. But people are writing us and they're saying they won't give us. The mayor is incompetent. The governor's incompetent. You know, Gavin. I know Gavin very well. He's an incompetent guy with a good line of bullshit, and he doesn't get the job done. And frankly, those people want to build their houses. It's terrible. They could have been built. Some of them could have been built already. But think of it: the federal government that has the most complex part, and it's the most complex environmental thing to do. We got it. Everybody had it within 30 days. And they're not even close to getting their permits. And now they're talking about taking some of those sites and building low-income housing on them. These are high-end neighborhoods. And I'm all for low-income housing. I built a lot of low-income housing. I know all about 236. I know every program that there is in the government. I used every one of them. I know more about low-income housing than probably almost anybody. And it's great. It's fine. It's wonderful. But you don't build it in Pacific Palisades. You don't build it there, and you don't build it in the other areas that burned down. So they're talking about putting up low-income housing. And you talk about riots. They're going to have riots if that happens, because you're taking the people's property away. They want to build their houses, and they're unable to get permits from the mayor and from the governor. And that's a terrible thing. But, and let me tell you, if I didn't send in the troops in Los Angeles, Johnny wouldn't be in Los Angeles. You wouldn't be having your World Cup there. I sent in the troops and we kept it. And even the police commissioner, the sheriff and the police commissioner, they all said the same thing. They said, we could have never handled what was happening. You saw that, you were there. He said, we could have never handled what was happening. And then you hear Gavin Newsom, after it's all quelled, you hear Newsom get up and said, we could have done this by ourselves. Now, if they couldn't have. And if they could have, I wouldn't have taken the chance either.
Okay, my second question is on crime prevention. Would you be open to expanding the national concealed carry to apply to D.C. like it does in other states like Texas?
Yeah. Well, they have it in some states and they feel strongly about it. As you know, I'm in favor of it. People have to protect themselves. I'm a Second Amendment person, very simply. People have to be able to protect themselves. Especially like in Washington, you walk down the street, a guy comes up and slugs you. He's got a pistol in his hand. You can be tough, you can be in great shape, you can be a powerful person, or you can be a guy that weighs 100 pounds with a gun in your hand. Right. And I'll bet on the guy with the gun 100% of the time, right? And so you need protection. So I'm a Second Amendment person all the way. Yeah, please.
President Trump, you said this morning that you're working with Congress to get $2 billion to help clean up DC. Have you had any conversations with Mike Johnson and John Thune about where they're going to get that money from?
Which money?
You said this morning that you're going to get $2 billion from Congress to help clean up DC.
Yeah, I've spoken to Mike Johnson. I've spoken to John Thune, the Senate, the House, and I think it's going to be very easy to get it. It's going to be not a lot of money. I wouldn't even know where to spend the number that you mentioned, but it's going to be money to beautify the city. Yeah, they're ready. Everybody wants to save D.C. In one way, it's the easiest. The violence was more than any other city in the country, actually, by far. It may have been more than any other city in the world, if you could think. We looked at some of the worst cities in the world, it was worse. And that's why it angers me to see the mayor saying about how they have it on the slide. Not on the slide, it was worse than ever. Yeah, we have no problem getting that money. That money will come out of Congress. I think it'll be even bipartisan.
That is the plan.
I mean, I would imagine Democrats would vote for that one.
Is the plan to get it before the September 30 spending deadline on the Hill?
Well, I don't know if there is a deadline, because if I declare a national emergency, which this was, that ends the deadline. So, I mean, I keep seeing about a 30-day deadline, of which we have 22 days left or something. But if I think we're in great shape here, that's one thing. But if I don't, I'm going to just say it's a national emergency, and if I have a national emergency, I can keep the troops there as long as I want. And people are not going to want to have the troops on. In 30 days, you know, it's one thing to get them out. It's another thing to keep them out for a long period of time. You've got to train people. You can't do this. You can't bop people over the head. And a lot of those people are in courts right now, going to court. They're going to go to jail for a long time. So that's going to take more than 30 days. But if I have to, I'll declare a national emergency, which I don't think I'll have to do. Yeah.
Mr. President, can I ask you about Russia? You said in 2 weeks you'll know whether you go.
Yeah, I think I'll know. I think I'll know the attitude of Russia and, frankly, of Ukraine. It takes two.
What are the 2 ways you can go at the end of 2 weeks then?
Well, then I'm going to make a decision as to what we do. And it's going to be a very important decision. And that's whether or not it's massive sanctions or massive tariffs or both. Or do we do nothing and say it's your fight? Look, I would have never been in this war if I were president. You wouldn't have had this war. It was never going to happen. This was caused by stupid people that fought. And you know, people say, well, how do we know? Because for 4 years, it was never even a subject. And Vladimir knew, and you see his picture right here. It was nice that he sent, but Vladimir knew very strongly we wouldn't have stood for it. It wouldn't have happened. 100% wouldn't have happened, but it did happen. And now they're losing from 5 to 7 young kids. Think of it, you're a parent and your son is leaving. He's Russian or he's Ukrainian. And he's leaving and they're waving goodbye. Nice, beautiful kid, nice crew cut, all set, he wants to be a soldier. And he goes there, first week he has his head blown off. And he's no different than you people, me. And it doesn't matter where. I mean, I solved a problem in the Congo that was vicious. Rwanda and the Congo, the Republic of the Congo. And they were fighting for 31 years, and it was machetes. People were getting their heads chopped off. That was going on for 31 years. I got it solved. You saw it. They came to the White House and we signed an agreement. It was amazing. People can't believe we got it done. I love to stop killing. I really do. People thought it would be just the opposite. Hillary Clinton said, oh, he'll get us into a war. No, I'm getting everybody else out of wars.
Are you saying there's a real possibility then that you do nothing if Putin doesn't come to the table for a ceasefire?
I'll see whose fault it is. If there are reasons why, I'll understand that. I know exactly what I'm doing. We're going to see whether or not they have a meeting. That'll be interesting to see. And if they don't, why didn't they have a meeting? Because I told them to have a meeting. But I'll know in 2 weeks what I'm going to do. I have pretty good ideas.
Your Justice Department is also sending some of the Epstein files over to the House Oversight Committee today. Are you in support of them releasing all of them?
I'm in support of keeping it open.
If they wanted
innocent
to release...
people shouldn't be hurt, but I'm in support of keeping it totally open. I couldn't care less. You got a lot of people that it could be mentioned in those files that don't deserve to be. You know, people, because he knew everybody in Palm Beach. I don't know anything about that, but I have said to Pam and everybody else, give them everything you can give them, because it's a Democrat hoax. It's just a hoax. The whole Epstein thing is a Democrat hoax. So we had the greatest 6 months, 7 months in the history of the presidency, and the Democrats don't know what to do, so they keep bringing up that stuff. But it affected them. Bill Clinton was on his plane and went to the island supposedly 28 times. I don't want to bring that up, frankly. You have Larry, whatever his name is, Summers, the head of Harvard, who was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Nobody ever talks about that. I mean, but I don't want to hurt Larry Summers, but he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. No, this is a Democratic hoax to try and get the significance of what we've done over the past 7 months. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They say it's #1 in history. What we've done, including stopping 7 wars. I mean, just include that. And now you look at the stock market today. It's way up to start off with from where I took it. And this market was going to crash. If Joe Biden or Kamala were president, this market we would have had a crash like in 1929. You're not going to have that. It's only a question of how high is it going to go. You know, I had the strongest economy in the history of our country. And despite COVID, we had the strongest economy in the history of our country. And we're going to blow it away this time. I was always good at making a lot of money. And whether it was for myself or whether it was, I like doing it this way better. I mean, I like I like making it for the country. Our country's been ripped off by friend and foe, nations all over the world ripped off, and the friends have been much worse than the foes for the most part. And they're not ripping us off. We just signed a deal with the European Union. They're paying us essentially $950 billion, like a signing fee. They're going to buy $750 billion worth of energy. They weren't buying much of our energy. They're very smart in doing it. And as you know, Ursula was here a couple of days ago having to do with the people, the leaders that we had a great, people said they've never seen anything like it. Well, we had the leaders of Europe right here in the Oval Office. And she's so happy that she has an agreement. But people aren't ripping us anymore. We're run by, this country is run by smart people now.
Mr. President, in Israel...
Two questions. One is about Intel. There have been reports that you're considering taking a stake in Intel. Can you tell us
About the 10%?
About the 10%.
Yeah, I met a man. He was a very nice man, and I called for his removal because I saw something by a man named Tom Cotton, a senator from Arkansas, who's a great guy, friend of mine, supporter of mine, big supporter. I'm a supporter of his too. And he wrote a pretty nasty story about the head of Intel. And I said, well, if that's right, he should resign. And he came in, he saw me, we talked for a while. I liked him a lot. I thought he was very good. I thought he was somewhat a victim, but nobody's a total victim, I guess. And I said, you know what? I think the...
All right, we have some breaking developments. Senator Bernie Sanders is speaking right now during his Fight Oligarchy tour. So we're going to go to this as we get some comments from him.
The Rat Boys, Joanna and Simplice and Riley and Misty for their remarks. Let me tell you, Misty Reberg is a hard taskmaster. I did more town meetings here in Iowa in 2020 than in any state in the country. And other than Vermont, I have not been in a place where I've met so many people. And I want to thank the people of Iowa because we did large meetings like this. We did small meetings with 50, 100 people. And people were willing to open up about the pain they're experiencing and their dreams for the future. And that meant a whole lot to me. I learned a lot. And I just want to thank the people of Iowa for that experience. What I want to do tonight is talk for a little bit about some of the issues that you're not going to see in corporate media or talked about in the U.S. House or the U.S. Senate. And then what we'll do is you'll ask me questions and I'll ask you questions, and we'll do what this country is supposed to be about, experience democracy. All right, let me start off by telling you why we have framed the tours that have taken us all over this country called Fighting Oligarchy. Now, what we don't talk about as a nation very much is who has the wealth and who has the power. Power. Don't talk about that very much. The reality is that right now in our great country, we have more income and wealth inequality than we have ever had in the history of the United States of America. You have, if you can believe it, and one of the things that I want you to be thinking about, ask me about, I'll ask you about. You know, if some kid robs a 7-Eleven, everyone says, that's terrible, gets a gun, put him in jail, fine, it's a crime. But sometimes when you're talking about billionaires and corporate executives doing far more serious criminal activity, we don't get outraged about that. So here's a fact. It's a fact I doubt you've ever seen on TV or heard certainly members of the Iowa delegation in Washington talk about. That is, in America today, if you could believe it, and it is true, one person, his name is Elon Musk, one person owns more wealth than the bottom 52% of American households. All right, let me stop right there. One person, more wealth than the bottom 52% of households. Does that vaguely make sense to any person in this room? Thanks for the reinforcement. And then you have the top 1% owning more wealth than the bottom 93%. You have CEOs, and there was a new study coming out recently, but I'll give you the conservative numbers. CEOs of large corporations make 350 times what their workers make. This is not what America is supposed to be about. There always have been rich and always have been poor, and I don't know when that's ever going to change. But not that grotesque level of inequality. And then, while the wealthiest people in America have never ever had it so good, there is another reality that I experience many of the people in this room are experiencing. And again, you are living in the richest country in the history of the world. And yet, despite that reality, 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, I grew up in a family that lived paycheck to paycheck, so I know a little bit about that, and I expect some of you are in that situation today, correct? All right. So this is an issue that we have got to talk about. So what does living paycheck to paycheck mean? What it means, for a start, is you are simply not earning enough to take care of your basic needs. So if you're not making enough and your husband or your wife or your kids get sick, you got a problem. If you're not earning enough and your landlord raises your rents, which is going on, by the way, all over America, what do? How do you find an affordable apartment? Very hard in many parts of this country. And maybe, just maybe, if you're a working class person, you would like to retire with dignity and security. And yet half of older workers in America today have zero in the bank as they face retirement. And here's a statistic that I'm going to bore you tonight with some statistics, but I should tell you because other people are not going to tell you these things. But you got, among elderly people in America, 22% of our seniors are trying to survive on $15,000 a year or less. Think about it. $15,000 a year. No one can survive on that, let alone a senior that has health care needs, etc., etc. Bottom line is, we are the richest country on earth. There is no rational reason why we are not providing a decent standard of living for every man, woman, and child. Now, our friends in the oligarchy, and many of you may remember that when Trump was inaugurated, standing right behind him were the three wealthiest people in America. And I had kind of the misfortune. I got pushed up front. I'm not quite sure why that happened, because nobody else wanted to do it. Bernie, you go up to the front row there. So I was closer to Trump getting inaugurated than you are to me. And right behind him was Mr. Musk, Mr. Bezos, and Mr. Zuckerberg, three wealthiest guys in America. But that's not enough. Behind them, you had 13 other billionaires who Trump had nominated to head major government agencies. And when I was there, it was a painful experience. When I was there listening to his speech, I really was thinking a little bit about American history. And I was thinking about Lincoln at Gettysburg. You all remember that when Lincoln was in Gettysburg, a few days after that terrible, terrible battle, where God knows how many thousands of soldiers died in order to try to end slavery in this country, Lincoln gets up there a few days, looks out in the battlefield, and he says, you know, these people, these soldiers have not died in vain. Because, in so many words, our vision of America, said Lincoln, is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. That was Lincoln in 1863. And I'm sitting there with Trump in 2025 saying, essentially, we've got a government of the billionaire class, by the billionaire class, for the billionaire class. So what Trumpism is about is not complicated. I wish I did not have to tell you this, but I think you already know this. The President of the United States is a demagogue. And demagogues historically and throughout the world, he's not the only one. They want two things. Number one is wealth for themselves and their friends, which is what Trump is delivering. And the other thing they want is more and more power for themselves. Now, I would hope that when we recall how many brave men and women from Iowa, from Vermont, from every state in this country put their lives on the line to defend American democracy, that I would hope that no matter what your political view is, you disagree with me, fine. That's called democracy. But what we have seen since Trump was elected is something unprecedented in American history. And that is, you have a president who is usurping powers from the Congress. He is, in too many instances, ignoring decisions of courts. He is going after the media with lawsuits and in other ways like we have never seen before, because this president, this great big bully, is afraid of people criticizing him. So, Mr. President, if you are afraid of criticism, get the hell out of politics. He is going after law firms because they had clients who opposed him. He is going after universities because they teach courses that he doesn't like. And right now, all across this country, including Iowa, we have ICE agents, sometimes with masks around their faces, throwing people into vans and taking them illegally, unconstitutionally to detention centers. And now you have military transportation, tanks, etc., in our nation's capital. And understand what all of this is about. We can argue about a sane immigration policy. Honest people have different points of view. We can argue how you effectively deal with crime problems which are too high in many parts of the country. But this is not about immigration policy. This is not about dealing with crime. This is about a president who is showing the American people that he is prepared to utilize power and move against people who dissent and disagree with him. That's what this is about. Now, you may not have heard much about this from your representatives here in Iowa. But a month ago or so, July 4th, I think it was, more than a month, Trump signed what I believe to be the most dangerous piece of legislation ever passed in the modern history of this country. Trump's big, beautiful bill was anything but beautiful. What that legislation did was provide, at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, when the rich never had it so good, he gave them $1 trillion in tax breaks. He gave, if you can believe it, the top 0.2% over $200 billion in tax breaks. He gave large, profitable corporations $900 billion in tax breaks. And that is pretty disgusting. But you know what is even worse is how he paid for it. Iowa, Vermont, and America are facing an enormous crisis in health care. We got 85 million Americans today who are uninsured or underinsured. Obviously, what our job has got to do is to do what every other major country on earth does, and that is to guarantee health care to every man, woman, and child. All right? That is what you want. That is what I want. That is what the people of Vermont want. That is what people all over this country want. But you know what Trump did? He said, well, we got 85 million uninsured or underinsured. Let's see how we can make a horrible situation even worse. Let us make $1 trillion cut in Medicaid and cuts in the Affordable Care Act that will throw, if you can believe it, 15 million Americans off of the health care they currently have. So instead of providing coverage to more people, what we are doing is throwing 15 million people off. And let me be very frank, I'm not happy to have to tell you this, but it will not surprise you. When you throw 15 million people off of the health care that they have, and these are people who are low-income people, these are working-class people, that means that people will not be able to go to a doctor when they should be going. And the result of that, according to various studies that have been done, is that tens of thousands of Americans will die unnecessarily because of that legislation. That is how horrific, how unacceptable is that. And I have talked to doctors, Vermont and all over this country, and they tell me right now that patients walk in much sicker than they should be. And the doctor asked the obvious question, why didn't you come in when you first had your symptoms several months ago? And the answer is, you know what the answer is. well, I don't have any health insurance, or I can't afford the deductible, or I can't afford the copayment, I just couldn't come in. And some of those people don't make it, because by the time they get into a doctor's office, their symptoms have gotten worse. That is what this legislation is about. Tax breaks for billionaires, cutting healthcare, and by the way, in the state of Iowa, your fairly small state, 95,000 people are going to lose the health insurance that they have. It is throwing kids off of nutrition programs. Now, in the richest country on earth, no child, no individual should have to struggle to feed himself or herself. Unfortunately, that is not the case. But as a result of this bill, millions of people are going to lose the nutrition benefits that they had. As a result of this bill and the need to give tax breaks to billionaires, it is going to be harder for our young people to afford to go to college, not to mention many other disastrous provisions. That is the legislation that Trump gave to the American people. And in my view, no member of the House, no member of the Senate who voted for that legislation should be reelected. But oligarchy, my friends, is not just economic power. It's not just the kleptocracy that Trump is showing us, making his family wealthier because of his presidency. It goes beyond that. And that is, right now in America, and again, I don't care if you're a conservative or a progressive, I would hope that we can all agree that the current campaign finance system is corrupt. And what that means is that as a result of this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision, we now have a situation, and not a whole lot of people are aware of this. You know, you have an election, people are running for office, but if you are a billionaire, what you can do is set up a super PAC, and you can spend as much as you want in that super PAC to support the candidate you like or defeat the candidate you don't like. So just a few examples of how obscene this corrupt campaign finance system is. Elon Musk himself decided he wanted Trump to win. He decides to spend $270 million to elect Trump. $270 million. And of course, when you put that much money into somebody, you get your payback. His payback was the right to become the most powerful person in government for a number of months. And he was able to exercise his extreme right-wing ideology, and that is to fire some 7,000 employees at the Social Security Administration, to threaten to lay off over 80,000 employees at the Veterans Administration, to break the federal unions so that workers there lost their union representation, and to lay off tens of thousands of federal employees. But what a corrupt campaign finance system is about is not only allowing billionaires to intervene in an election, it goes further than that. It goes right down to legislation. Let me give you a couple of examples. In this terrible piece of legislation, reconciliation bill that I just mentioned, if you think that senators and House members, Republicans, Democrats, did not understand the implications of that bill, you would be mistaken. So you had this guy named Tom Tillis. I don't know if that name means anything. Tillis is a U.S. Senator from North Carolina, and Tom and I have very little. He's a conservative guy. We have very little in common. But Tillis made the mistake. You would be mistaken. So you had this guy named Tom Tillis. I don't know if that name means anything. Tillis is a U.S. Senator from North Carolina, and Tom and I have very little. He's a conservative guy. We have very little in common. But Tillis made the mistake. And very shortly after that, Tillis said, I am out of here. I'm not running for re-election. What's my point? My point is, right now in the Republican Party, and it is true in the Democratic Party as well, not quite as much, true in both parties. Right now, if you are in the Republican Party and you have the courage to represent your constituents and stand up to Trump, you will be put under enormous political pressure and likely defeated in the next election. But it is not just the Republican Party. 80 billionaires contributed to Kamala Harris's campaign as well. And I will give you one example of where I believe that money has had a very negative impact. In my opinion, what is going on in Gaza right now is absolutely unconscionable and immoral. Over 60,000 people in an area of 2.2 million people, not a very large population. Over 60,000 have been killed, over 140,000 have been wounded. Some 18,000 children have been killed. Thousands of kids have had to have one or more limb amputated. Their entire infrastructure has been demolished, their water systems, their wastewater plants, their schools, their universities, their healthcare system. That's what is going on in Gaza. Now that's really bad. But what is even worse from an American perspective is we are funding that terrible Netanyahu war. Now what I am telling you about what's going on in Gaza, members of Congress know. They read the same stuff as I read and as you read. So I'm happy to tell you, by the way, that we're beginning to make some progress. We now have a pretty strong majority of Democrats who are prepared to vote against more military aid to Israel. We have had 0 Republicans. Not one Republican. I brought up the legislation. They're not very complicated. Stop weapons system going to Israel. Now, last time I got 27 votes, more than we've ever gotten before. No Republicans. So why is that? Has everything to do with super PACs like AIPAC that say to these members of Congress, you vote for that Sanders resolution, you are out of here. We're going to spend millions to defeat you. What we have got to do, and it's true in both parties, if we believe in democracy, what that is about is one person, one vote, not billionaires buying elections. And we're making some progress there as well. The Democratic National Committee, I think in a few weeks or shorter, is going to vote on a proposal to get super PAC money out of Democratic presidential primaries. And I want to see that expanded. If you're running for Congress, you should not have crypto money or AIPAC money being spent by the tens of millions of dollars to defeat that. All right, it is one thing to work diligently, and we have to every single day, taking on Trump's dangerous agenda. But that is not good enough. What we also have to bring forth is a new vision for where our country should be going. All right? And too many Democrats are saying, well, I disagree with Trump, vote Trump out, vote anybody, and that's fine. But we need, the American people are hurting. The American people understand something fairly profound, is that the current economic and political systems are broken for the working class of this country. They're broken. Over the last 50 years, 50 years, real inflation accounted for wages for workers, despite huge increases in worker productivity, have actually declined. Got that? Over a 50-year period, we've seen all kinds of new technology. Every worker in this room is producing a lot more than somebody who did a similar job 50 years ago. And yet real weekly inflation accounted for wages are lower today than they were 50 years ago. People understand that. They understand that over the last 50 years, there's been a 75 trillion, with a T, transfer of wealth from the bottom 90% to the top 1%. Working class people understand that, and they're saying, we are struggling. Who in Washington is listening to us? Who the hell knows what's going on in our lives? Well, so we need to bring forth together an agenda that speaks to the needs of families like the family I grew up with and the family that you are today. Agenda that works for the working class, not the 1%. So let me just lay out a few items on that agenda, and then we're going to open it up. Number one, as I said a moment ago, health care is a human right. We should be ashamed that we are the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care for all. We must pass a Medicare for all single-payer program. Now, this system, and I want to discuss it, you can ask me questions about it, this is how broken this system is. We could understand that 85 million are uninsured or underinsured, that our life expectancy is shorter than other wealthy countries. I can understand all that if we weren't spending twice as much per capita as almost any other country on earth. You got it? In other words, we are spending over $14,000 per person on health care in the United States of America. $14,000. $56,000 for a family of four, and yet you got a broken health care system. And the reason for that is not hard to understand. The function of a rational health care system is to provide quality care to all in a cost-effective way. The function of the American health care system, and it is doing this, is to make huge profits for the insurance companies and the drug companies. So our job, and again, we certainly, if every other country, major country on earth can do it, we can do it. And I want to talk a little bit more, because I remember coming here to Iowa and talking to people, hearing stories, hearing a guy there was a woman talking about her husband being ill and not even telling her that he was ill because he didn't want to worry about the financial costs, talking to people who went bankrupt because they underwent cancer treatment. In America today, it's not just that we are living 4 years shorter lives than other wealthy countries. That is bad enough. But here's a statistic that should blow everybody away. And that is, if you are working class in America, you will live 7 years shorter lives than the 1%. Why is that? Why is it that the people on top live 7 years longer lives than working class people? All right, raise your hand. Give me some answers here. Stress. I hear the word stress. All right, who wants to tell me? Tell me about, all right, let me back it up here and tell you, I did a hearing a number of years ago. Never forget it. We had a number of doctors talking about the physiology of poverty. Physiology of poverty. What does that mean? What does it mean? All right, raise your hand. Somebody come on. Give me an answer here. What does that mean? You gentleman right here. Stand up. Be loud. You got a mic coming. You got a mic?
Now, this is the first time I've heard this term, but breaking it down, how your finances impact your health directly?
Right.
Okay. Cool.
That's it. I mean, look, just think for a moment. This is not complicated. If you are worried, as millions of Americans are, as to how you're going to feed your kids for the week, how you're going to pay the rent, how you're going to go to the doctor when you get sick, that takes a toll on your mind and on your body, right? You're worried all of the time. That's stress. And as everybody in this room knows, stress kills. That's what it impacts. I'm not a doctor here, but it impacts various organs, your heart and everything else. That's what these doctors were telling us. And that is the reality for many, many millions of people in our country today. And I want you just to think, and again, the point that I'm going to make to you over and over again is if we were a poor country, you know, we were Haiti, some poor country, we'd say, gee, it would be nice that everybody could have health care. We are not a poor country. You are the richest country in the history of the world. There is no rational reason why we do not have the best healthcare system in the world rather than one of the worst. And when you think about a system that is broken, you think about, does the system provide for basic necessities of life? Everybody here wants to do well, all right? But most importantly, we want to make sure that the basic needs are.
All right, guys, that is our time here from our 7 to 9 stream on WCNC+. We will see you for the 11 o'clock news on WCNC.